Hey guys, this is Aegis, and I'm gonna be bringing to you the game 4 between Fallacy and Fever Clan. This is going to be the fourth game here, and FLC is currently down at 2-1. Or they're down 1-2. So we do have FLC's Ska spawning over here as the Protoss player. He did choose this map, Typhon Peaks. And we're all rooting for freedom, right? And looks like yes, I am. So we do have the spectator chat over here. So looks like Me for the Win is watching this as well. Walt Freedom over here is going to be spawning as the orange Terran player, which is Me for the Win's favorite color. So I bet he's rooting for this guy, and of course he plays Terran as well. So this is going to be possibly a long game, since we do see long rush distances here from the cross positions. So the grand final of the American Pro League is actually tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow at 8 p.m. It's going to be Energy versus Infinity 7. So Infinity 7 is actually a very strong team. They sent lots of players to MLG. And it's really hard to talk while typing, apparently. There is the simulator on the way for FLC Scott. Of course, this is the grand final of the American Pro League Beta League. And here I am chatting with all the spectators. And it looks like FLC's Jank, Ska, and Psycho are all going to Raleigh. And we'll see. I don't know if I'm going yet, so I'm not sure if I'm going yet, but I don't know. So I'll figure that out later. But Freedom over here is not actually grabbing any gas. He's got his Marines coming out real soon. And we have Freedom probably going for that fast expansion. So we'll see if he decides to do that in the near future. There's that supply depot that's actually kind of orange. So it sort of looks like Freedom supply depot. Some players decide to kill that off sometimes. And we do have the SCV going to be scouting in here. Going to be checking for the Protoss player's base. Looks like it's going to be backing out right away. Not sure why. Maybe he hasn't noticed yet. Freedom over here now grabbing the natural expansion with his command center, and the Nexus going down for Ska. So he hasn't even scouted over there, has he? He doesn't know about this, but he does know that there's no gas, so he knows that it's likely that his opponent has gone for that fast expansion. So going off of intuition, he's pulled the guys off of gas and gone straight for that really fast expansion. Going to be throwing down extra gateways as well. I like this style. Maybe I'll copy it later on and see how it works. Freedom over here has his bunker now on the way. I also like Freedom style. I sort of play a little bit of Terran when I'm playing multiplayer, or not multiplayer, as in 2v2s, 3v3s, or 4v4s, to get the feel of it. We'll see how I do in that later on. Possibly I'll post up some more games of me playing some ladder. We do have the SCV scouting here, gonna get chased out of here. That Stalker is going to be able to chase up to it. The SCV giving up on life and just kind of stopping over there. It looks like a pylon is coming up for Scott over here on this side of the map. Is going to be throwing up that proxy pylon to be able to put up some pressure. Possibly going to go for some 4 gates off of 2 bases, put some pressure on, see if he can break this expansion over here. Freedom making SCVs at both his main and his natural, but not grabbing the orbital command only until now. Usually you get that orbital command as quickly as possible to get additional economy up. Stimpack has just been started and will be finished in about 170 seconds, 140 seconds, I think. Actually, need to check that. Let's see. It's 170 seconds for the Stimpack. 140 was before, and we do have the Stalkers poking forth. There's 2 bunkers in the way, but the run up to the main is completely open. There are Marauders spawning here. and those stalkers can just walk by this bunker and run straight into the main. We'll see if Ska decides to do that. He's got a sentry out, and looks like he's going to be sprinting over here. A couple of the stalkers, are they going to be headed for that main? Looks like the bunkers unload, and they are trying to get back into that bunker. The units are over here. Force field going down, and it looks like a couple of units may get picked off, and the stalkers are just running straight into the main. I would have preferred if he ran up there and threw down a force field on the ramp to prevent the units from even getting in there. And he just needs to get up there and see if he can pick off some SCVs. The SCVs joining battle here, so the stalkers will auto-target them. And let's take a look at the workers killed. 7 workers killed already. He is suiciding all of these stalkers, so keep in mind this is actually going to cost him a lot of minerals to pull off, but it's a lot of lost mining time as well as a lot of workers killed. 9 workers killed this early in the game. That last stalker finally going down. A couple more stalkers over here still doing some additional damage. Looks like no more SCVs picked off, but mining was denied at both bases for the longest time ever, and now all the SCVs have actually been transferred to just one base. So the efficiency of mining has also gone down. Ska is now at 37 food to the 37 food of freedom, so it was even for just a second until a couple more stalkers warped in. Looks like this pressure is going to continue. Another gateway is on the way, and looks like those stalkers are headed for the main again. Stalkers are going to be pouncing on that bunker. SCVs getting pulled off the line, and that bunker almost goes down. The SCVs repairing it all the way back up. Nice pull of SCVs from Freedom. Looks like he will be able to defend against those stalkers. More stalkers warping in over here. Ska has not actually been making probes during this time. Kind of surprised of this, because when I put on some pressure like this, I usually keep chrono boosting probes. And looks like the stalkers are going to try to come in here and pick off another bunker. The SCV is coming here just in time to repair it, and it looks like a bunch of stalkers have been lost. The units that do have Stimpack now are going to be able to run forth and pick off of. Looks like no, they've given up on picking that one off as well. Scott over here warping in additional units. Looks like he wants to keep pressuring, and he's going to try to pick off a couple of units here or there. It looks like the Marauder Concussive Shell will soon be done and will prevent Ska from retreating all that easily in the near future. And it looks like those probes are now getting chrono boosted at both the main and the natural expansion. We do have the robotics facility on the way for Ska. Continue to push in here. He needs to watch out just in case Freedom gets angry, unloads everything, and just stims forth and tries to pick everything off. So we've got additional units popping out to the factory, grabbing a reactor for that starport so that he can get some medevac production real soon. Freedom here going to be now grabbing the gas at his natural expansion, finally getting a little bit of saturation in his main. Scott over here has his nice saturation at his natural expansion, 36 probes to 32 SCVs, so the longer this drags on, the more in favor it will be for Ska, and despite those mules actually. So Freedom over here, he's got his medevacs out on the field. We'll see if he decides to do some dropping action. Looks like he may be looking to advance here. We'll see if he decides to salvage those bunkers, because bunkers, keep in mind, are almost free. Too bad it's not as good as Costco's return policy. We do have Ska's units now retreating all the way back across the map, and the units from Freedom looks like they're a little bit indecisive. The medevac is going to heal these units back up as soon as it has energy. More medevacs popping out. It looks like he's just making them one at a time, and a lot of gas for Freedom, so we'll see how he decides to spend that. Perhaps he'll decide to tech a little bit more, and looks like these Terran units have advanced to the center. An observer is now making its way across the map, going to be checking out this Terran army real soon. That single stalker does know the entire army is over here, so we'll see if he decides to utilize this proxy pylon, warp in 1 or 2 stalkers, and then try to pick off some units over here, since he does know that the entire Terran army is advancing towards its natural. There are plenty of sentries here, although not as much energy as he probably would like. The Guardian Shield getting thrown up, going to be advancing over here. The force field's going down, and looks like a ton of units get trapped, and a lift by the medevacs. Hot pickup by Freedom, going to be retreating here. Scott did a very nice job of holding that off, and a very nice defense of his own army from Freedom, not losing too much food over there, and not over-stimming at all. And we do have additional reinforcements streaming across the map, still not returning those bunkers. And we do have additional medevacs, still one at a time. Very interesting here. And looks like we're going for a triple drop into the main. This is going to be really hard for our Protoss player to deal with. He's chrono boosting all of his gateways. The robotics bay is researching the thermal lance, and here comes the drop. They may be able to pick this off. The Protoss player has not reacted yet. All these units need to run back in here. A huge drop into the main. All the probes getting pulled off. A ton of them getting killed off as well. Here comes finally the response. He didn't have a pylon in the corner to spot for this. All the warp gates getting taken down. There's one Colossus out in the field. However, he did not pick off that essential robotics bay, and looks like a nice lift over there. It's only saving a third of those units. Looks like a couple more left behind over here. Does see the robotics bay chrono boosting away, and a couple more running in here. Suicide mission for those guys. Feeling a little bit sorry for the Protoss army, so decided to throw a couple of units away. A couple more pylons going to be going up in the main. Nothing mining over here. All the probes are saturated here at the second, and a third is coming up for freedom. So he is getting up the essential composition of units, getting the Ghost, throwing up additional barracks over here, getting the Mobius reactor as well, +1 infantry weapons on the way. Vikings also popping out to deal with that Colossus. However, here comes a push from Ska. He's going to try to make something happen with that single Colossus. A bunch of sentries here for the force field, and those Ghosts are not quite out on the field yet. The first one only spawning right now and will not have enough energy for that, or actually it does. Never mind. Looks like a couple of units getting picked off over here. That Ghost, it doesn't get the EMP, it just gets picked off, and tons of force fields going down. Looks like that's actually helping our Terran player for the moment. Vikings going to be poking forth, going to see how much damage they can do. He still has that proxy pylon. He can keep warping in units, and here comes the Protoss push once again. Needs to throw up some Guardian shields and force fields. Not that many zealots left here, so the force fields are decent. Going to be able to use that long range of the Colossus. A couple of zealots over there going to get picked off by those Marauders. More units need to get warped in. Those Marauders need to be careful. Do not want to overextend themselves into this ball of a Protoss fury. Force fields going down. A bunch of Marauders will get picked off. A nice pickup over there. That medevac is so close to death. It's got only 24 HP. Going to be able to retreat. And it looks like the Terran army is going to hang back, and this third base is up and running, so he's got a huge economic advantage. All he has to do is keep pumping units and pray that he can defend against those Colossus. We've got additional Vikings out in the field. He needs to try to pick those Colossus off as quickly as possible. Looks like he lost 2 Vikings. Bad control from Freedom. He needed to keep those Vikings alive as long as possible to deal with the increasing Colossus count. There are additional gateways on the way for Ska. He's going to continue trying to pressure in here that single Viking, trying to hold its own against all those Colossus. He does not want to run into there. Those Colossus getting free shots off over there. And it looks like that Viking going to keep trying to poke in here. The Stalkers almost picking that that Viking off. 9 health left for that one. He does not want to be flying in there. 2 more Vikings going to be joining this field. It looks like an advance forward from our Protoss player is going to be able to push in here. Guardian shield coming up. Force fields going down. All the Terran units are just not shooting. They're just running back continuously. The Vikings in that corner do get taken out, and all the Protoss units streaming in here. More units getting warped in the backside. The SCV is getting pulled off the line as well. All the Terran units are melting to this Protoss fire. All of those force fields are so good. All the SCVs are just kind of hanging back. All the SCVs getting pulled off the line to fight against this force, but Colossus are actually pretty good against SCVs, if you did not know. Force field on the ramp. Oh, a bunch of units trapped up there will not be able to fight the Colossus, ranging them down, killing them off. And let's take a look at those Instructor Colossus with 14 kills. 26 kills on that Colossus. Executor Colossus, very efficient use of this army. Yet another Colossus joining this force. And more units at the top of the ramp trying to get healed up by those medevacs, but those medevacs will quickly fall. GG! And this game gets taken by Fallacy, taken by Scott. Very nice play here. He got destroyed in the main, but he did very well coming back and winning the game, and it does tie it up 2-2. We're going to be going into game 5.